This lecture here is about the photochemical reactions of the 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate molecules. And here you can see this is the very first reaction in which this mesoionic molecule is undergoing a photochemical transformation into this type of valence tautomer, which is actually a type of a ketene molecule, right? And after that, upon reaction with a molecule of ethanol, it is resulting in the formation of an ester molecule, right? Now, before discussing the actual mechanism of this reaction, there are two important things which we should understand, right? The first one is that how the generation of this kind of valence tautomer is taking place starting from this type of mesoionic compound, right? And after that, we will also talk about that why the reaction of this ethanol molecule as a nucleophile, is taking place with this carbonyl of the ketene group and not with this carbonyl of the amide functional group here, right? So we will be talking about both these things here. So starting first of all with the generation of this valence tautomer here, right? Tautomerism is basically the migration of a hydrogen atom. Let us say the very common type of tautomerism, which is actually the keto-enol tautomerism, in which let us say we are having this C double bond O C H2 here, and it is like this, means some molecule here. I am not drawing the rest of the molecule. What happens is that when the migration of this hydrogen atom takes place from here to here, from here to this oxygen atom, it will result in the formation of something like a carbon here, single bond OH here. This will now become a double bond carbon having this hydrogen, and the rest of the bonds are present like this, right? Now, this is the most common type of tautomerism, and it is known as the keto-enol type of tautomerism. This is the keto part, and this is the enol. En here means a double bond plus one alcohol, means this is an enol type of molecule, right? So in the simplest type of tautomerism, what is happening? The migration of the atoms is taking place, right? So let me write here, the tautomerism is actually associated with the migration of the hydrogen atom, right? And now you can see here we are talking about tautomerism here, but a special type of tautomerism. It is the valence tautomerism, right? So what is a valence tautomerism actually? It is also a type of a tautomerism, but in this case the migration of the atoms will not be there. The migration of atoms will not be there. Instead, what will be happening is a very rapid bond reorganization will be taking place. Okay, so let me write here, very rapid reorganization of the bonding electrons or of the bonds will take place. Okay, so now I can show here the transformation of this mesoionic molecule into this ketene valence tautomer by considering or by converting first of all this mesoionic molecule into an equivalent type of structure, right? And you all know that how we can do this thing. What we can do here is I can write here R1 single bond oxygen, single bond nitrogen here having this R2 single bond. This is the hydrogen here, then is the oxygen negative here, right? What I need to do is I need to put two double bonds here, the first one here like this and the second one here like this, and now a positive charge will appear on this nitrogen atom in this way, right? Now after that, in the presence of irradiation or some radiation here, what is going to happen is these electrons will shift here in this way here, sending these electrons in between this carbon and oxygen. such that these electrons of the pi bond will now be going to this nitrogen atom like this, right? Resulting in the formation of what? R1 single bond. This will now become a double bond oxygen. This will now become a single bond nitrogen, to which one R2 group is attached like this, right? And also there is present one hydrogen atom here. This is my carbon atom, double bond. This will be a carbon double bond oxygen, right? So because this negative charge is coming here, so this will result in the formation of a double bond, something like this. And obviously the cleavage of this bond will take place from here, and it is going to form a double bond in between this carbon and this oxygen, which you can see here, right? So this is what, here is my ketene, here is my ketene valence tautomer, I mean this thing, right? So this was actually the first point here in the very first reaction, which is photochemical in nature and of what mesoionic compound? It is the 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate, right? And now after discussing about the generation of this valence tautomer, we need to talk about the regioselectivity in this valence tautomer here. That why the reaction of this ethanol molecule, what is happening here in this step is this ethanol is actually acting as the nucleophile, right? So this nucleophile, you can see here, it is attacking on this carbon atom of the carbonyl of the ketene functional group, resulting in the formation of this type of transformation, right? And this carbonyl of the amide, it remains unaffected here, as you can see, right? So there is present a region-wise selectivity, that out of this first region and this second region, only the second region will be affected in this chemical reaction, okay? And we know we have a technical term for this thing. It is known as the regioselectivity, okay? So the second thing which we will talk about just now is that what is responsible for such kind of regioselectivity. And once we get to know this, the reason for this regioselectivity, this transformation here is quite simple, okay? This reaction here is quite simple. It is having a very simple mechanism, but we should know that why it is reacting with this and not with this, okay? So moreover, before going further on the next slide, I want to add one more thing here, that you people know that tautomerism is what? It is involving a migration of the hydrogen atom. And why it is a valence tautomerization here? Because the rapid reorganization of the bond or the bonding electrons is taking place here. Like this is becoming a double bond. This bond is breaking. This is becoming a double bond, and this is becoming a single bond, okay? On the other hand, the atoms are not shifting here, okay? The atoms are present as it is where they were initially present. So there is no migration here, right? There is no migration. It is just a type of a very rapid bond reorganization, okay? And that is why it is a little different from a normal type of tautomerism. It is known as the valence type of tautomerism, right? So now let's talk about that, why the reaction is occurring on this carbonyl and not on this carbonyl here, right? Now there are two reasons for this. The first reason is what? It is based on the electronic type of factors. Let me write here the electronic type of factors. So what is actually there in case of the electronic factors? There are two types of effects here. The first one is the inductive effect, and the second one is the resonance effect, right? Now, one thing is very clear, that out of this carbonyl here and this carbonyl, that carbon atom which is more electrophilic in nature, that will be more susceptible to be attacked by the nucleophile, right? So either is it this carbon atom or this carbon atom which is highly electrophilic, that will be attracting the nucleophile, I mean the ethanol, towards itself, right? So let us see and let us check out of this one and this carbonyl here which is more electrophilic. First of all, let us talk about the electronic type of factors involving the inductive effect as well as the resonance effect. Okay, so let me draw here this diagram once again. This is the R1 here, single bond, C double bond, oxygen. Here is the nitrogen atom having, let us say, the R2 group, and then let me be quick here. This is double bond, C double bond, oxygen here, right? So now what I can say here is that regarding this carbonyl of the amide functional group, this carbon here is experiencing an electron withdrawing type of, electron withdrawing type of inductive effect from this oxygen atom, right? In the same way, it will also be experiencing that same electron withdrawing, minus I inductive effect from this nitrogen atom, and thus we can say that this carbon atom will be feeling electropositive at this moment here, right? So this carbon atom here, this one here will be what? It will be electrophilic in nature. It will be having some partial type of positive charge, right? Because it is bonded to two electronegative elements which are having high electronegativity, and they are constantly withdrawing electrons from this carbon atom by an effect known as the inductive effect, electron withdrawing in nature, giving some type of partial positive charge here on this carbon atom, right? Now, if we compare this thing with this carbonyl carbon, in this case only a single electronegative element is present, and that is oxygen here, which is withdrawing electron towards itself and exerting an electron withdrawing inductive effect here, right? So this will also be having a partial positive charge in the same way this was having here in this way, right? Now you people can say here that instead of two atoms which were present in case of the amide carbonyl, we are having a single heteroatom here which is withdrawing electrons from this carbon atom. So this will also be electrophilic. This will also be electrophilic in nature, and it will be having a partial type of positive charge. But we do not have to be so fast in deciding this thing only on the basis of the inductive effect. We should also consider here the second type of effect, which is known as the resonance effect, right? Now what is happening in case of resonance? In this case here, in this case, the nitrogen lone pair is going like this, sending electrons onto the oxygen atom, such that a second type of resonating structure is definitely possible here. I will not be drawing the whole structure. I am just drawing the structure which is of interest here, means N double bond C. This will now become single bond oxygen negative here, right? And it is also attached to R1, and on this side is present some atoms, right? Okay, so this will now be having a positive charge here like this. Okay, so we can say here that this nitrogen atom at the same time is also exerting an electron releasing resonance effect, means plus R here, right? So now let me keep this carbon atom aside here, means this is my carbon atom here. It is now having one electron withdrawing inductive effect in this direction, one electron withdrawing inductive effect in this direction, and at the same time one electron releasing inductive effect in this direction here, right? That will be plus R, right? Now we know that out of the inductive and the resonance effect, the later is more dominating, the resonance. So whatever electrophilicity was there at this carbon atom, that will actually be compromised because of the presence of this electron withdrawing resonance effect, right? And we can also add here that the resonance here is quite effective because the negative charge is coming onto this atom here, which is oxygen and electronegative, and it can easily handle this negative charge, right? So if really the resonance effect is effective here, this means this effect here will be dominating, and ultimately this will be less electrophilic in nature. Let me write here this will be less electrophilic in nature, right? Now what is happening in this case? This carbon is experiencing some sort of electron withdrawing inductive effect from this oxygen atom. Okay, fine. Let me once again keep this carbon atom aside for simplicity. Let us say, okay, I am doing all these things here in this box, right? So this is my carbon atom here. It will be having an electron withdrawing inductive effect by this oxygen atom, I mean minus I. Now, if we talk about the resonance effect here, what I can say here is that the resonance is also possible here in this case, like this, giving these electrons onto this carbon atom, such that I can draw here this nitrogen having two bonds, then a double bond here, carbon having this hydrogen. This will now become a single bond, carbon, a negative charge here, double bond, oxygen, right? Now, this is also showing resonance. This means I can put one more arrow here, mean the electrons are coming to this carbon atom by an effect known as the electron releasing resonance effect of this nitrogen, right? So now the thing here to understand is that this resonance is not much effective. It is not much effective. The reason being, you can see here the carbon atom here is having a negative charge, okay? And we know that carbon is not much electronegative, so it will be difficult for this carbon atom to handle this negative charge, right? So in this case, because the resonance effect means this effect is not much effective here, let me put a cross here. The only effect left for this carbon atom is the electron withdrawing inductive effect by this oxygen atom, and which will be making this carbon atom highly electrophilic in nature. Let me write here, this will be highly electrophilic in nature, and as such it will be this carbon atom which will be attacked by the ethanol oxygen lone pairs, right? So this is the first reason by which we can decide that the regioselectivity in this molecule, it will be like this, in which the valence tautomer ketene carbonyl will be attacked by the oxygen lone pair of the nucleophile, although a neutral type of nucleophile, right? So once again, in this carbon atom, two different electron withdrawing inductive effects are there. Okay, fine, that will be making this carbon atom highly electrophilic, but at the same time one electron releasing plus R, I mean the resonance effect is also there, that is more dominating, thus it will be less electrophilic. But in this case, although one electron withdrawing inductive effect is do present because of this oxygen, but the resonance here, that is electron releasing, I mean plus R, it is not much effective because of this carbon negative, that is an unstable type of resonating structure, right? So overall, this will only be having an electron withdrawing type of inductive effect, which will make this carbon atom highly electrophilic, and thus it will be attacked by even a neutral type of nucleophile, such as our ethanol molecule, right? And now there is also present a second explanation for this regioselectivity, and it is based upon the, let me write here, it is based upon the stability of the intermediate formed after the attack of the nucleophile, okay? So I will be drawing both the cases here. First of all, let us say the ethanol as a nucleophile is attacking on this carbonyl carbon of the amide bond. So what is going to happen is it will be resulting in the formation of a single bond C, double bond oxygen. Let me draw only that part of the molecule with which the regioselectivity is concerned, okay? So here is the ethanol molecule, means C2H5 and OH here, right? So when this will be attacking on this carbonyl carbon, it will be sending these electrons onto the oxygen atom, resulting in the formation of what? A single bond carbon, single bond, oxygen, it will now become a negative charge here. This is bonded to this nitrogen, and now it will also be having this oxygen, hydrogen, and the C2H5 group with positive charge on this oxygen atom, right? So this will be the case here when the ethanol molecule as a nucleophile will be attacking on this carbonyl carbon of the amide functional group, right? And now the second case will be what? Let us say it is attacking on the carbonyl of the ketene molecule, I mean double bond C, double bond oxygen. And let us say here is present my nucleophile, that is C2H5OH here, right? And now let us say the electron pairs are attacking on this carbonyl carbon, sending these electrons onto this oxygen atom. So it will result in the formation of what? The nitrogen, single bond carbon, a hydrogen here, double bond, this carbon, to which now the C2H5OH means the ethanol molecule will now be attached with a positive sign on this oxygen atom, and this will surely be now a single bond with oxygen negative here, right? Now you can see here the main difference in between this intermediate, I mean this intermediate and this intermediate is what? Where on one side this intermediate is resonance stabilized in this way, this is not resonance stabilized. Let me write here, this is not resonance stabilized, and such that we can say here the attack will not be going to take place on the carbonyl of the amide, because whatever intermediate is being formed here, it is not resonance stabilized, it is not stabilized at all, right? On the other hand, if the attack would have been taking place on the carbonyl of the ketene, whatever intermediate is formed here, it is stabilized and it is going towards stability because of the formation of the second type of resonating structure here, and it can show resonance, right? So that we can say here, if the magnitude of this negative charge here, let us say it is 100, that 100 units are present on this oxygen atom, and it will be there all the time, right? But if the same 100 charge in terms of magnitude is present on this oxygen atom, what will be going to happen is it will be showing resonance in this way, means the carbon, single bond carbon, this is the OC2H5H here, this will now become a double bond oxygen, and to which the nitrogen and the hydrogen atoms are attached here, and this will now be having a negative charge, okay? So what is happening? If there are present a total of 100 units of negative charge in one structure, it is present on oxygen, and in the second resonating structure it is present on this carbon atom. So this means it is divided 50 by 50 here, right? So at one time, at a single atom, there is present only 50 magnitude of charge, as compared to this case in which at a time at this atom here there is present 100 magnitude of charge, right? So obviously higher the charge, higher the instability, and in this case the charges are less here because they are being dispersed, they are being delocalized, resulting in the formation of a stable type of intermediate, okay? So these are the two basic reasons which are responsible for this type of regioselectivity in case of this type of valence tautomer, right, which is a ketene molecule. And now, because we have the exact understanding that why the reaction will be taking place on this part of the molecule, so we can easily show the reaction, and it will be like this lone pair attacking here, sending these electrons onto this side, resulting in the formation of the R1 single bond, the carbonyl, single bond nitrogen here, then is the R2 single bond carbon, this is the hydrogen here, double bond, a carbon having single bond oxygen negative. To this now our oxygen, hydrogen and C2H5 will be attached, as I have discussed on the previous slide, right? And after that, as soon as this intermediate is formed here, it will be releasing one H positive ion from here, because oxygen is electronegative and it do not want to keep a positive charge on itself. And at the same time, this type of resonance will also be taking place, resulting in the formation of what? R1 single bond, a carbonyl here as it is. Then is this nitrogen atom having Nr2, a carbon single bond hydrogen, and now it will be a negative charge on this carbon atom. This will now be a single bond C. This will now become a double bond oxygen, and it is now having OC2H5 here, right? And now this negative charge here will be abstracting the H positive ions from here, resulting in the formation of what? This type of ester as the final product molecule here in this reaction. Okay, so this is all about the very first photochemical reaction in case of the 1,3-oxazolium 5-olate molecules. What was there? That the mesoionic molecule, first of all, it can be converted into a valence type of tautomer like this here, like a ketene here under photochemical conditions, and after that it is going to react with the nucleophile, that is ethanol in this case, and the position of attack will be this carbon atom here because of those two reasons, finally resulting in the formation of this type of ester molecule. Okay, now here is the second photochemical reaction, and it is in the presence of a reagent, which you can see here is what? It is the oxygen molecule, right? The conditions are photochemical in nature, so this will be having a similar type of mechanism as it was there in case of the 1,3 dipolar cycloaddition reactions. So that now what I can do is I can draw an equivalent structure for this mesoionic molecule, which will be like R1 single bond, this 5-membered ring here in this way. This is having my R2, here is the R3 group, and this is the oxygen negative. And now what I can do is I can put two double bonds here with a positive sign in this way, right? And after that, this negative charge is coming here, sending these electrons onto this side, resulting in the formation of what? R1 single bond, double bond, nitrogen having a positive charge. This is also having R2 single bond, oxygen. And what I need to show here is one negative charge here. This is the R3 as usual, and this will be a double bond oxygen, right? And now the reaction with the oxygen, I mean the oxygen molecule, because it is symmetrical, we can show the interaction with any of this oxygen atom, and it will be like this here, and then the interaction of this will be with this carbon atom in this way, right? And one more thing I want to add here is that in this case, in this type of photochemical reaction, the mechanism is still a concerted type of mechanism, but now it will be involving the generation of some sort of free radicals from this oxygen molecule here. Let me write here, it is still a concerted type of mechanism, but now it is involving the formation of the free radicals. Okay, so it is a free radical driven type of mechanism, right? Because now we are having the photochemical conditions as well as we are having the oxygen molecule, which can undergo a homolytic cleavage, resulting in the formation of a diradical type of species. Okay, so something, this type of species is actually involved here in the formation of a transition state, but the cyclic adduct formed here, it will be similar what we usually get in case of 1,3 dipolar cycloaddition reactions. So that I can show here, it will be oxygen single bond oxygen here, a bond in between this oxygen and this carbon atom, to which one R1 group is attached, and this is also having one oxygen, this double bond oxygen here, and here is the second carbon atom which is having R3, and this is all attached with the nitrogen atom, to which one R2 group is attached, and it will be like this here, right? Resulting in the formation of this type of cyclic adduct here. Okay, so it is the exact same structure here. Now after that, what we used to say is that the release of a molecule of carbon dioxide is only possible here if the electrons are shifting here like this, giving a positive charge here and a negative charge here on this, right? So we can prove here that yes, the positive charge at this position is actually stable after the release of a molecule of CO2 from this cyclic adduct. The reason being that although two electronegative elements are attached to this carbon atom on which the positive charge will be present. Let me show here in a separate figure. It is what it is, the R2 single bond nitrogen. This bond here to this carbon atom which is having the positive charge, and then is this oxygen atom which is further attached to other atoms. So I'm not showing all the atoms here. Let me show it like this. So now we can say that yes, this positive charge is stabilized, but it is not because of the resonance effect of this nitrogen and this oxygen atom here. The reason being, when they will be doing a resonance type of effect here, the second resonating structure will be like what? It will be a nitrogen. When it will give its electron to this atom here, I mean this carbon atom, it will be stabilized, but the positive charge will now appear on this nitrogen atom like this. Okay. In the same way, if we are talking about this oxygen atom giving its electron to this carbon atom through resonance, we can write here an equivalent resonating structure, and it will be like this here, a double bond oxygen, which will now be having a positive charge because of electron releasing resonance effect, right? So you can see here, although the nitrogen and the oxygen atom here, they are electronegative, they are withdrawing electron towards themselves, intensifying this positive charge here to a greater amount that will be adding to the instability of this carbon atom having positive charge. But at the same time, the resonance effect is also there. But because this resonance is giving a positive charge on most electronegative elements here, so resonance will be there, but it will not be very much effective, right? So how we can say that this positive charge is being stabilized here? What I want you people to do is, please have a look on this R1 substituent here. It is what you can see from here. The R1 is actually a type of a phenyl group, right? So if I simply introduce one phenyl ring here, what will happen is I can easily explain the stability of this positive charge here on this carbon atom, because it will now be present in resonance like this, resulting in the formation of resonating structures, which will be like a benzene ring having a positive charge here, and after that this will come here, positive charge will appear here, this will now come here on this side, and the positive charge will be delocalized over the 6 atoms of this phenyl ring, right? So the main idea is what? That yes, the positive charge is stabilized, but not because of the presence of nitrogen and oxygen giving electron releasing type of resonance effects here, but it is stable because of the presence of a unique substituent, which is what? Which is the R1, and that is equal to the phenyl group, right? So better the dispersal of the charge here, better will be the stability, and thus it will be releasing this molecule of CO2 from here, resulting in the formation of what? Resulting, let me write here, resulting in the formation of oxygen, single bond oxygen. This is the carbon atom to which one R1 group is attached, and then is the nitrogen atom to which R2 is attached here, and then comes this carbon atom which is having the R3 group, right? And now this was having the positive charge and this was having the negative charge, such that bond rearrangement will be there in this way, and the bond here of this peroxide, I mean oxygen, single bond oxygen, it will be going to cleave from here, and the reorganization of the bonds will take place, and these electrons will come in between this carbon and oxygen bond, right? So finally resulting in the formation of a molecule of diamide, right? So we can also say that the driving force here is what? That from these single bonds we are getting the more stronger double bonds here, which is containing one sigma and one pi bond, right? So this was the second photochemical reaction of our 1,3-oxazolium 5-volate molecule with oxygen. It will be giving this type of cyclic adduct here first of all, and after that it will undergo the elimination of a molecule of CO2, giving this type of intermediate which will undergo bond rearrangement, finally resulting in the formation of a diamide type of molecule. Okay, and please be sure that the mechanism is similar to a 1,3 type of dipolar cycloaddition reaction, but there will be a little difference here in this portion of the transition state. This time it will be occurring with the agency of the formation of a diradical from this oxygen molecule in the presence of photochemical conditions. So this is all about the photochemical reactions in case of 1,3 oxazolium 5-olate molecules. Thank you so much.